Today, we are joined by guitarist Bob Catlin of S.A. Slayer, a much celebrated underground metal band from here in Central Texas, all the way back to the early 80s. Put out an EP called Prepare to Die that is a highly collectible piece of vinyl. It's been recently reissued. But if you have an original, it's worth hundreds of dollars. I've even seen them at record collections going for, or record conventions. Yeah, I've seen them at record conventions going for like $1,000. Prepare to Die. What an awesome album cover. 4-song EP. Or is it 5 if you count the door?
I guess if you count the door, but the door is like a, 1 minute long.
Yeah. Anyway, S.A. Slayer is reunited. We talk about that in the podcast today with Bob. Jason, our very own Jason McMaster, is handling lead vocals in place of the dearly departed Steve Cooper.
Yes.
S.A. Slayer has been dormant for decades, but there was a call from a promoter, I guess, at Hell's Heroes. Is this Christian Larson, the magic man who puts these things together?
Yeah, he's he's the idea guy, I guess, whether it's inadvertent. I don't think that he's trying to be this guy that comes up with these, let's get these guys and those guys. I'm not saying that Hell's Heroes is the same thing as Keep It True, but you know what?
It's kind
of related in its own way.
Right.
Next year Hell's Heroes, this will be out next year. This episode is coming out next year.
It's going to be out in 2025.
Right.
Yes.
So at Hell's Heroes this year, I can say in March of 25, Coroner is playing, Swiss band Coroner.
Yeah,
Saxon is one of the headliners, and you'll have to go look at the list of it's considerably badass.
Did I see Power Trip or Fugitive on that?
I think they're playing one day. I think they might be one of the headliners.
Okay. That might be
It might be Fugitive. It might be Fugitive. I don't recall, but
okay. But
it's going to
S.A. Slayer.
Yeah, it's going to be fantastic. That's pretty much what kind of sealed the deal. But as we talked to Bob today, in small circles, this has been being talked about for decades, for at least 10 or 15 years. I know that. Some hint and idea, Steve Cooper passed away, I want to say like 10 years ago, maybe more. I kind of feel like I need to know that. I should probably look that up and make some calls.
Yeah.
Because people are going to ask, and I feel like I, of all people, should probably know. And the point that I'm making is I tell the story, but I'll mention that, some people will talk to members of S.A. Slayer and go, what do we got to do to get this together and do some gigs, do some festivals, do some gigs? People want to see this, a reunion. And I was approached by Don Van Staveren probably in private years ago. And then Dave McClain again mentioned it to me in private. And I'm just like, hey, I'm waiting for the phone to ring. Where's the gig? Just tell me where the gig is, right? Yeah. And it's been years of me going, yeah, well, I'll believe it when I see it. Well, it's finally happening.
Yes.
So I'm extreme, and I've mentioned this so many times in interviews on the internet and stuff, that it's such an honor because I've known those guys since I was a kid, and I was friends with Cooper. We have the same birthday. It's terrible that he is not here and can't do this, because it would just be that much cooler to have the original, of course. But it's going to be crazy, and this like weird internal like thing is going to happen with me, at least, because I was a big fan of theirs.
Oh yeah, yeah. There's already a huge buzz about this reunion, and some of that stems from just the fact that S.A. Slayer has a long-standing reputation in Central Texas as being one of the celebrated underground metal bands, peers with Watchtower. I mean, you
Yes.
guys are often mentioned in the same breath. Watchtower, S.A. Slayer. There's also, of course, the Slayer comparison and the Slayer versus Slayer. We talk a little bit about that with Bob. But even more so, a couple members of S.A. Slayer, Dave McClain on drums and Donnie Van Stavern, have gone on to do other things that have been widely recognized. McClain, of course, spent years as the drummer in Machine Head and is now the drummer in Sacred Reich. And Donnie has been doing Riot for decades.
Yeah, yeah. It's funny that Dave McClain was in Sacred Reich before Machine Head, and then went back to Sacred Reich.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
So them branching out sort of brings in another another fan base, I guess.
For sure.
Just by their exposure to a mass audience. So S.A. Slayer was kind of like this little treasured, band of ours here in Texas.
Yeah.
But over the years, the reputation and the lore has grown, and with a couple members going on to international sort of fame, that's grown the reputation as well. So definitely something a lot of people are looking forward to. You mentioned you guys are doing Hell's Heroes in March. You're doing Keep It True, which is in Germany.
That's
April, a big festival.
End of April. Yeah.
And I know there's a lot of buzz, and there's probably some speculation about some warm-up gigs to be.
Well, you would think that a band that just to avoid any confusion, even though around here there's not really any confusion, that's where the SA got lopped onto or sewn in front of the word Slayer because do your homework, kids, and you'll learn a lot. But as in San Antonio, Slayer, SA Slayer it's a must. It has to happen.
Yeah, you would think
it
so.
has to happen. I mean, are we just going to rehearse, once and then wait for Hell's Heroes? Because Don's got to hit the road with Riot.
Yeah.
You see the point? It's going to be like, wait, what?
Yeah.
So it's kind of doesn't make any sense to do rehearsals and then he's just going to jump and go do Riot. But if that happens, that's why we would have not done a warm-up show. That's why I mentioned in this podcast that if we do one, it's got to happen the week before that Riot Saxon show at the, what's it called? The Tobin Center? Yeah.
Tobin, yes.
So that's, to give it the full bill, that's Lizzie Borden, Riot, and Saxon at the Tobin Center in San Antonio on the 21st of March.
It's March. I don't know.
I think it's the 21st. I think it's Friday the 21st.
Yeah.
And then Saxon's the headliner on the day that, and Riot's playing too. So Don's doing double duty. Turns out you don't know this yet, Dave, but I think, or maybe I'm speaking out of turn, but it doesn't matter. Sue me. I don't care. I think Dave McClain is doing double duty at Hell's Heroes as well.
Mm.
Yeah, I won't tell you who, but you'll have to look at the list of people playing and take a big guess. Yeah, because it'll surprise you a little bit.
Well, I know that a lot of people are looking forward to this. Once it was announced, everybody started buzzing. And as we talk in the podcast, not only is this a treat for the fans, but all the players involved, you, our guest today, Bob Catlin, Art Villarreal, Donnie Van Stavern, and Dave McClain. You guys go back to, your childhood. You've known each other since you were like 18 years old. 18
years old, yeah. And when you think about 1983, it's not a couple of days ago.
Exactly.
So, and, we're all, still kicking like a chicken. So it's important to realize that. And we all still fucking rock. I mean, I'm not tooting my own horn. We're still fucking here,
Yeah.
And everyone's busy, and that's so great that it was that this lined up, and those guys were all able to do it. I mean, I would have stopped the traffic to do the gig. I would have just thrown away what I had going already. But no, I locked in this stuff. As soon as they told me, I locked it all in, and that's exactly what they all had to do. So.
Well, I know a lot of people are looking forward to the gigs, and we got a great history lesson today with our guest today on the Talk Louder podcast, SA Slayer guitarist Bob Catlin.